but I will be starting the session sharp 9 a.m. itself. If you just wanted to join early, you can join, but I just wanted to join, start the session by 9 a.m. sharp tomorrow. Okay. Hmm. Good morning, Murli sir. Thank you so much. So Murli is active. I don't know what about other people. I see that a lot of people are actually sleeping. I don't know, but there are so many people over here, but I don't know how many people are active. Good morning, Teja. Yes, Teja, we are going to start with Docker today. But Docker will take some time for you to understand. So don't worry about that. I will make you the respective steps to make that understand from my side as well. Okay. So, Saho, do you have any questions for me?
Yes, sir. Actually, when I am creating after import the project to IntelliJ IDE, it's showing some error, sir.
Okay. Do you have your system in place?
Yeah, but today my system is not working. Tomorrow, sir, I will connect with
Okay,
you
sir.
to resolve that issue.
Yes. Try to show me the error tomorrow. So probably I will just guide you on how to fix that because IntelliJ will have the JDK not set for the project. So we need to set by going to the settings tab, and probably we have to add our JDK pointing to our local machine itself. Otherwise, it will not run and it will start giving error. So tomorrow I will guide you. Don't worry about that. Okay.
Okay, sir. Yeah. Thank you, sir.
So again, I'm saying there are some people who are actually joining the call, very early, like at least by 9:05. So tomorrow, I just wanted to start the session sharp by 9 a.m. Okay. If anyone is interested to join late, you can join late. But don't ask me the questions from the start of the session. Okay. I just wanted to start the session from tomorrow exactly by 9 a.m. Do you understand? So that's the total idea. So Murali, I have a Deloitte call at 12 p.m. and Walmart contractual basis call at 4 p.m., sir. Okay. So what I can do for you, Murali? Yeah, you can talk.
Hello, sir. Actually, nothing. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Yeah, I keep
Yeah.
getting calls. I
Okay.
keep
Okay.
attending interviews.
So, okay. Fine,
I
fine.
started 20 days back.
Oh, okay. No problem. Try for the opportunities, but make sure that everyone will ask from Core Java. So probably you have to be very strong in Core Java. Okay.
Yes, sir. I changed my profile picture, background picture.
Okay. Good. Okay, then no problem. Thank you.
I mean, this.
Sorry, I'm not able to hear you, Murli.
So they won't ask about JVM architecture. So I changed my background image.
Okay. Got it. Got it.
Yes.
Uh, yeah. Okay then. Okay, we have already our application, right? User registration system. So I just wanted to create a Docker image for that, first of all. So let me start the application first of all, and then first let me share my screen. Okay, hope everyone is going to see my screen, right? Yeah. Yes, thank you. So let me tell you one important thing over here. Okay, so here I just wanted to go to this file explorer, and here if you just see this in the target, we have not built our application first of all. So do you know what is a build meaning? Because unless we build the application, right? So if here I just wanted to do the build for this, I just wanted to go to this terminal, and there is a command called Maven clean install. So this is basically to build the application. There is something called Maven clean package also. I will let you know when the time comes. Okay, not now. So right now I just wanted to build my application. So if you see here in the target right now, so there is no jar file which has been generated because still it is running. So now the build is successful. So once the build is successful, we have this jar generated by the Maven actually. Okay, so I just wanted to go to this. And here, if you can see that there is a user registration system -0.0.1 snapshot.jar. Okay, so this is the jar file which is going to be run by our Docker. Unless we build the application, it will not be able to build it. Okay, so now what I just wanted to do, okay, so right now I just wanted to change the application version over here. So just go to this. So here I just wanted to change this to 1.0. Okay, and I just wanted to run this again so that 1.0 snapshot related jar will be generated instead of 0.0.1. Okay. So Docker will be completely understood by all of you only after a couple of days, not on a single day, because Docker is very much complex to understand. But I will make some things from my side to make you understand today. Okay. Okay. Now you can see that in the target we do have 1.0 snapshot.jar. So this is the jar file which will be actually run by ours, right? So here, what I just wanted to do, I just wanted to open the Git bash. You can also run that application through the command prompt, but I just wanted to show some variations over here. So how we can run this jar file now? So Java -jar, and what is the one? User registration system -1.0.jar snapshot.jar. So if I just wanted to run this application, so let me see whether this application is running in my local. No, it is not running. Let's run this application now. Okay, so now the Tomcat started on 8080. Okay, now what I can do, I can just go to this Postman and hit the data. So we have got user registered successfully, right? So we have got the user registered successfully. Let me make sure that the data is still present over here. Yeah, this is there. Okay, now the data is successful. So here we are actually running our application using this command, java-jar user registration system -1.0 snapshot.jar. So this is the command which is used to run a Spring Boot application through the command. But in real time, we will not be able to run this application. So let's stop this application now. Yeah. So right now, what I need to do, I just have to run this application inside the Docker, not inside my local machine. Okay. So what is this? How you stop this application, sir? So the command is to everyone. So everyone in the chat. So Control plus C. Okay. So this is what you can use it. Yeah. So now, so if I just wanted to start my application inside the Docker, first what I need to make sure, I just wanted to open my Docker desktop. So I have already said to you that there is, you can just go to Google and type Docker desktop. And there is a Docker desktop, the first option. So just go to this. And here you will be having the download option. So here you'll be seeing the download for Windows. There is a download icon on right of this. Just click on this one. It will start downloading over here. Okay. It has started downloading. Okay. So now once it is downloaded, just double click on that software and it will start installing the Docker desktop. So it will take at least 3 to 4 minutes or even 5 minutes based upon your CPU. So once it is installed, you will be able to see this Docker desktop like this. Okay. So here there is something called images. Okay. So here already I have some existing images. So don't worry about that. So I just wanted to remove all these containers first of all. I'll just tell you what is the container, what is the image and all these kind of things. But let's start the, how to run our application inside a Docker and all these kind of things. Okay. Okay. So go to the images and delete everything. Done. And also go to the volumes and delete everything. Okay. So now there are no images. I'll tell you what are the images and all these kind of things. Let me sign into the Docker. So once you are logged in, then probably it will just take the, yeah, I think open Docker desktop exe. Yeah. I think now this sign in will change to my one. Okay. So Dhanvi is my daughter name. Okay. So okay. So here, what I just wanted to do, I just wanted to run this application not in my local machine. I just wanted to run this application inside a Docker. And let's see what are the steps for it, first of all. Okay. And there are so many, things Docker is going to do behind the scenes. But right now, today, what we will do, we will just make this application to run in Docker and see what are all the steps that we can give it or implement over here in order to make it work. Okay. So first of all, I just have to write a Docker file. So the file name exactly has to be like this, Docker file. Okay. So Docker, D capital and remaining small letters. Okay. So here we need to write some steps first of all. Okay. So I said that in the initial days, right? So when I was talking about the PowerPoint presentation regarding Docker, I said that Docker is exactly going to take our operating system resources like this. Only it takes the help of CPU, memory, disk, and network. So it is just going to take the help of these 4 different resources in our operating system. And these 4 resources are the core part of our operating system kernel. So the core part of the operating system, Windows operating system, is a kernel one. Okay, so kernel is basically going to take the help of this 4 resources from our operating system in order to run. Okay, so we do have Spring Core. It provides core libraries, core annotations like @component, @component scan, @repository, @service. Like the same wise, we do have a kernel one, which is a part of our Windows operating system. So this kernel exactly takes the help of this CPU, memory, disk, network in order to run. Okay, so Docker is exactly going to use our kernel, which is a part of our operating system. It is just going to utilize only these 4 resources, because for Docker, CPU is required, memory is required, disk is required, and network is required. And it doesn't require any other things. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So now the first step, what I just wanted to do, if I just wanted to run this application inside a Docker, right? So I said that Docker is a separate environment. That means Docker is a separate operating system. Okay. It's not our Windows operating system where Docker is going to run. Docker is basically on the cloud. So we are going to run this application on Docker environment. So do we have to install any softwares in order to run our application? Not required. There are some images. I will tell you about images, containers, all these things in a bit later on, but not right now. Okay. So here I just wanted to define some steps. First of all, I just wanted to say OpenJDK. There's something called 17 Alpine. So I'm just using the Maven compiler as the Java version as 17. So we need to make sure that we are actually using the 17 version. I will tell you about this. What is this OpenJDK and all these kind of things a bit later on, but not right now. Okay. So here I just wanted to create a variable arg, and there is something called a jar_file. Again, I'm saying don't worry about all these naming conventions. Once you are able to know what are these steps are basically meant for, once you know this, it will be probably easy for everyone to get an idea. Okay, so here I just wanted to say that where is our jar file located? Inside the target, right? This one. Okay, so inside the target, so where the Docker file is there, so the Docker file is there at the same location where the target file target folder is also located. So here what I just wanted to do now, so here I just wanted to make it as target / what is the jar file? User registration system, right? So I just wanted to copy this name first of all. So we'll rename and copy this name. That's it. And here I just wanted to do this. Okay, so once this is done, there is something called the next step, which is add. There's something called the jar file. Don't worry about all these conventions. I just wanted to show you how Docker is going to run behind the scenes, and I will tell you. Okay, so here I just wanted to say this as user registration dot charge, and then so how Docker has to execute our application. So we need to give some entry point. So this is basically a script that we need to give. So here Java -jar and / user registration jar. That's all. We don't have to do anything else. Okay. So now, once we have done all these steps, what we need to do now? Okay. So first of all, we need to build an image for this application. Okay. So how we can do this right now? Okay. So how to build a Docker image. So right now, in order to build our application, we have actually executed Maven clean install, MVN space clean space install. But in order to build a Docker image, Docker needs some steps. These are the steps. These are the commands Docker is going to understand. So what is the meaning of these steps exactly? Okay. So now I just wanted to go to this terminal here. And here, what I just wanted to do, I just wanted to build this application using Docker. So there is something called Docker. So how we are going to run Maven, because MVN is the command. So here Docker itself is a command. Okay. So here I just wanted to do Docker build -t. I will explain you everything. Okay. So here my Docker repository, that means the username is Dhanvi. So I just wanted to give it as Dhanvi / user. So what is the application name? User registration system, right? So here, what I just wanted to do, I just wanted to make this as user registration system. Okay. And what is the version of this one, right? 1.0 --build -arg space jar _file equal to target. So take exactly the same thing over here. Don't worry again. I just wanted to explain all these commands, but let me write some data. Paste it. And then now what we can do, we can just keep a dot over here. Okay. So Akash, don't worry about that. Okay. I'll tell you each and everything. Got it? So here I just wanted to build my application now. Okay. So what is this command is basically for? So there is something called Docker build -t. And what do you see over here? It's a tag information. So Docker build -t. Dhanvi is actually the username of your Docker account. And what is the application name? User registration system. So you need to give the same thing like the artifact ID over here, because this is the project name. Okay. And what is the version that you are going to use? Here, if you can give 1.0 or 1.0 -snapshot, it doesn't matter. But if you are going to give 1.0, okay. So what that means is you are actually building the Docker image, and the software name is user registration service. That is this one. Let me copy paste this in a notepad and make you understand about this command first of all. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Can you see this clearly? Okay. So now, if you can see this, Docker is a command line tool, CLI. So we actually execute Docker commands using Docker. And there is something called a build. Okay. So here we are actually building or creating a Docker image. Okay. So, but how we are going to create a Docker image, that is still challenging for now. So if you see Docker build -t, what is the meaning of this -t and this version? So basically we are building or creating a Docker image with the specific version of our application. Okay. So right now, what is our project name? User registration system. So user registration system, and what is the version, right? So this is something called a tag information. -t is basically a tag information. This is basically to tell what is the project name and what is the version. That's all. Now there is something called --build--arg, and there is something called a jar file. But here, if you just see that the jar file is located in the target folder, and the user registration system -1.0-snapshot.jar, and followed by space and dot. What is this dot? So dot is the actual place where our Docker file is present. If you see this, so where we are actually, so see user Srinivas Basha downloads, user registration system. So we are actually at this location, and at the same location, the Docker file is also present, right? So that is the meaning of dot. So dot indicates the Docker file location. So we are executing this Docker build command at the same folder location. Dot indicates in the current location, the Docker file is there. Okay. Now, when I just start it executing now, right? So what happens is, it is basically going to create a Docker image. Let's run this command first of all. So it is actually saying invalid tag, a repository name must be lowercase. Okay. So what I need to do, whatever the tag information that you are going to provide, this is just to make sure that if you just go to the, Spring context, Maven. So if you see here, each and every artifact ID as well as the group ID always in small letters. Okay. No one is going to give this as capital letter. Okay. So that's the reason in Docker, we have to give the tag information. That means the project information. That means the project name itself in lowercase letters. Okay. So now what I just wanted to do, I just wanted to go to this, and I just wanted to give this as user registration system. Okay. No matter whether this artifact ID has to be the same or not, but Docker exactly expects. So here, how the artifact information has to look like. So it has to be user registration system. This has to be exactly like this. But don't worry, this does not has to be same with this tag information also. But I will tell you how to create the artifact in a nice way. Okay. So now if I just click on press enter. Okay. Now it is going to perform some steps first of all. And if you see that, load build a definition from Docker file, and there is something called arg jar file and entry point java-jar, and it is failed to solve Docker file parse error. There is an exception. It is saying that it is unknown instruction. That means if you see this over here in the Docker file, so here I just have to give a space for this entry point. So each and everything has to be understood by you. That's the reason I have not given a space in the first time. Okay. So here I just wanted to execute again. Now, if you can see that it is actually pulling some information, that means what it is actually doing, it is actually pulling the OpenJDK Alpine. That means our application has to run inside a Java environment, right? So right now we are actually building or creating a Docker image. So that Docker image has to run inside the Docker, not in our local machine. I said that Docker images are going to run inside the Docker environment, correct? So Docker is a separate operating system provided by Docker itself, and it does not have any relationship with our operating system. Okay. R is missing in user registration at tag level. Yeah, that is fine, no problem. Okay. So now I just wanted to execute this, but here what it is actually doing. So it is actually cached, and then probably there is something called user registration system, user registration.jar. What is happening over here? and image vulnerabilities and recommendations, Docker Scout review. So what is happening over here? So if you see here, just rename this to this one. Thank you for pointing out. And let's run this one again. So it is actually stopping that one to create an image. So here, what is actually doing? So if you just go to this Docker desktop, can you see that there are images actually created, but nothing is working out over here. But here, if you just go to this, what is happening behind the scenes over here? So here from OpenJDK Alpine, that means before running this or before building an image, first it actually creates the JDK environment. First of all, first it is actually going to create, because I said that Docker is a separate operating system which does not have any relationship with our operating system. Even if Java is installed on our machine or not, even if it is installed, Docker operating system requires a separate JDK to be installed inside the Docker. Once it is there, it will run our Java applications. Okay. For Docker, JDK is actually required, and there are some ready-made available images already available in the Docker Hub. So let me tell you about the Docker Hub first of all. Okay. So let's go to the Docker Hub first. Okay. So can you see this? Docker Hub. Okay. So if you see this over here, hub.docker.com. So this is an exactly the same software application apart from Maven repository. So Maven repository is a kind of repository where we will get all the softwares, right? So, but here if you see that Docker Hub also has some images. Instead of dependencies, it has some images. So images are actually the softwares which are actually required for the application to run. Right now, our application is a Java application, right? So for Java application, in order to run a Java application inside a Docker container, Docker actually needs a JDK to be installed in Docker only for the first time. Okay, not multiple times. Now, if I open JDK, so this is the image. That means this is a Java software with Java version 17. And here, if you can see that, there are some commands given over here. Okay. So if you see this exactly over here, this is an image that can be used. And if you just go to one step back, library OpenJDK, you can see hell lot of OpenJDK softwares. See here, there's 22 version, that is the recent version of Java, 22, and then followed by there are so many images from so many companies. Okay. Click on 5, pagination. So still 22 is still there. So I just wanted to go behind the scenes. There's so many 22 versions. So 22 EA, 17 JDK, Alpine. So all these kind of things. If you just go to this OpenJDK 11. Okay. So just type Docker over here. And here, if you can see this is the Docker image with Java version 11. Okay. So here, adopt to OpenJDK 11, and this is the command to pull this image. So right now we are actually adding dependencies in Maven pom.xml to get the software. But here we do something like Docker pull adopt to OpenJDK / OpenJDK 11. So this is one software, and there are hell lot of softwares over here. There is something called Alpine. Just click on this. And here you have a lot of things, OpenJDK 9 and all these kind of things. And if you just type OpenJDK 8 version and Docker, So here you can see that OpenJDK with 8 version is also available inside the Docker Hub. Okay, so this is what we are doing. Right now, if you just see our Docker file information, if this application user registration system has to run inside a Docker, we need to first create or install the software of Java 17 inside the Docker container. So this is the first step. So that's the reason from command is basically used to point out to the image. So when this command is executed by Docker, so whenever we say Docker build, this command, I just wanted to show that to you now. So yeah, this is the one. So Docker build -t. So basically our image will be built with this user registration system :1.0. And if you see the image over here inside our Docker, so can you see this? The name of our application is Dhanvi/user registration. Since we have executed 2 times the images, so just delete forever. And now here, what I just wanted to do, so here Dhanvi/user registration system is the project name, and the tag is exactly like the version. So the alternative name of the tag is version. So what is the version of this project? So it's 1.0. So basically, whenever we are going to build an application, we have to give the project name and the version. So how we are going to give it, and why there is Dhanvi/user registration system? Because my Docker username is Dhanvi / whatever the project that you are going to build, and : the version of the project. So this is how this is actually going to look like. Okay. So Docker build -t Dhanvi /user registration system : 1.0, and then --build -r, and then jar file equal to target user registration system -1.0 snapshot space dot. So this dot is actually indicating our Docker file. That means wherever you are executing this command, at this location, the Docker file is already there. So dot indicates the current location of the folder where the Docker file is existing. Okay. Okay. Now, if I just wanted to run this application, what is happening now here? First of all, just run this application and it is actually failing. Do you know what is the reason for these failures? First of all, okay. So here we do have something called a database information. If you just go over here inside the source main resources, application.yaml. So here it cannot create an image. It cannot create an image if we are going to connect with our local database machine. Okay. So, but can we use the embedded databases for now? Because for this one also we need to create a MySQL image. Okay. But we will see that in the later stage. But right now, what I just wanted to do, I just wanted to connect to the embedded database, because embedded database is internally provided by Spring Boot and not by our local machine, right? So Docker is not going to build an image unless it is not going to connect to this URL, first of all. Got it? Got it, everyone? Anyone has any concerns right now? Yeah, tag name can be any user-defined name. It is your software name. Okay. Yeah. But trust me, by tomorrow, everyone will be perfect. But today, there will be some dilemma because there are a lot of things to be explained tomorrow as well. So once tomorrow is done, you will be able to get the complete picture of what is Docker. Okay. So just bear with me for a few minutes. Okay. So here, what I just wanted to do, instead of having this one, I just wanted to go to this JDBC :h2 mem and registrations. Okay. So this is the embedded database name. So here, Spring Boot started data JPA is already there. But here, what we need to do, I need to comment out this one because I need to work on H2 database, which is an embedded database. It is not local to my system. It is provided by Spring Boot. Okay. So here, what I can do, I can just go to the start.spring.io. I just wanted to add the dependency of the H2 and copy that dependency. So if you just go to explore, just copy that H2 database, this one, and go inside your pom.xml and refresh it over here and refresh this application. So basically it will download the H2 database. Okay. Now what we can do, just go to this application.yaml. And by default, the password is not required for this. And here, I just wanted to go to this one, and SA is the default username. Okay. And here, I just wanted to create TDL Auto as create because this is a different database. And now what I just wanted to do, I just wanted to run this application and see whether everything is running fine or not. First of all, I'll explain you a lot of times, don't worry. Okay. So if you're not understanding, then probably I will not proceed with the further lectures. So just bear with me today and tomorrow. You'll understand complete picture of Docker by tomorrow itself. Okay. So it has created everything and then it has started. So now we will open that H2 console, localhost 8080 /H2 console. I think here we need to enable some default things, right? So Spring, this is not JPA. So there is something called H2, sorry, H2 console. And there is something called enabled as true. Sorry, make it as true. And then followed by settings. And here web allow others true. So once we add this and restart our application now, restart our application. And now let's see everything is working fine or not. Yeah, it has started and now just execute this. Okay, now we have got this one as our, but here the database is registrations. So here I can just use registrations and then connect. Okay, now I have got this users and I think we have got the table structure. So everything is working fine now. Okay, now what we can do, we can just go to our, just stop this application for now. And now what I just wanted to do, I just wanted to go to this terminal. And first I just wanted to do a Maven clean install because Docker build is basically taking the old jar file, which has JPA related implementation. But we have actually changed this data source URL to H2 database, right? So if you can see this target file, this jar has been generated at 9:23. That means it has the code. It has the code which will connect to my local database. Okay. So now I just wanted to run Maven clean install again. And then after installing, okay. So now if you can see this, there is a build failure. And what is the failure for this? Building user registration system 1.0 snapshot for pom.xml. And it was unable to delete the folder. But why? So, okay. So this is the reason for that. I just wanted to close it and do a Maven clean separately. You can also use Maven clean separately and Maven install separately. Okay, so now it is done. So I just wanted to do Maven install. Yes, now it is successfully done. And now we will execute the same Docker build command that we have used before. Yeah, this is the one, right? Now we will just execute this command and let's see what is going to happen now. Yeah. So if you see over here right now, so it is basically doing some steps over here. First of all, it is actually, loading the build definition from Docker file. That means exactly this is the Docker file. This is the Docker file. And it is actually transferring Docker file with this 213 bytes. That means we have actually given, if you just go to this Docker file, there is a command called from OpenJDK 17-alpine, right? So if you just see this, it is basically going to download this software from the Docker Hub. Okay. So, but it is actually, doing all these types and then OpenJDK pull token for registry 1 Docker. And then it is actually, so these are actually the transfer rates. Okay. So don't worry about this. And exporting to image, exporting layers and writing the image and all these kind of things. Now, if you see that, right now, what is the latest one which was actually downloaded for us? Let's stop this and delete this one. And now run this Docker build again and see whether the Docker image is getting executed, is getting generated or not. Okay, let's run this. And so we have the Docker image in place. So if you see the size of this one, it is 372 MB. But if you just see that, if you just see this jar file size inside the target, it is just 45 MB. But if you just see this image, the Docker image, the size is 372 MB. Can you see this? The size is 372 MB. Can anyone explain why the size is 372 MB when we have built a Docker image? Anyone? Good, Murli. Anyone else? Yes, right. It includes the OpenJDK, right? So uncompression size. Okay, Teja. So right now, if I just wanted to give this application, that means if I just wanted to, give this image to anyone else, let's say tomorrow, what I will do. So tomorrow, I just wanted to push this image to my Docker Hub. If you just see my Docker Hub already, Docker Hub. Already there is a user registration system. So once I pull that, so the Dhanvi /user registration service is already there. And there are two versions. See here, one is a dev version and the latest version is 1.1. So this was done 1 month ago. That means this Docker has been explained already to the real-time batch, right? So, and anyone, if they just wanted to, download this image to their application, they don't have to install Java. First of all, only Docker is required in their system. Once Docker is there, they will be able to pull this Docker pull Dhanvi /user registration service. That's it. They will get that image and they can just run that image. Okay. But right now, what I just wanted to do here, there is some action. There is a run action for this. If I just wanted to click on this run, but also there is a command for running the Docker image. Okay. So just clear this one. And right now, I just wanted to execute the Docker run command. Okay. But before that, what I just wanted to do, I just wanted to run this image directly from this. But if you see this, this is the images tab and this is a containers tab. Right now, we do not have any container. Okay. So what is the container basically? So if you just ask me, in our local system, right, if JDK is running, there is a separate Java runtime environment will be created, right? So that is basically JRE is a container where Java applications are going to run, right? Exactly the same way. We have an image. It is just like a software application or a Java application. When we are going to run this image, it obviously becomes a container. So right now we have not run this image, right? So the container is still empty. So image and container both are same. Image is just a software application. When that software application is going to run, it obviously becomes a container. So that's the total idea. Now let's start running this image first of all, and let's see what happens. Just run this and let's see the logs. And if you see that, it is actually starting our Spring Boot application in Docker. It is not related to something like running the application inside the local machine. This is actually running inside the Docker. And now if you can see this, it has started the user registration system application inside Docker. Don't imagine that this application is running in local. This is not running in local. Got it? Let's say what I just wanted to do. I just wanted to go and test this service. Let me check this one. Nothing is getting executed. The reason is port 8080 is there. I'm just executing it. Boom. You will not be able to connect to it. Do you know the reason why? Anyone? Anyone? Do you know the reason why it is not working? No? So port, right? Okay. Yeah, port is some information. Docker port. Okay. Good. Now let's see the Docker desktop and let's see the containers now. So can you see this? Can you see this? Containers. Now it is actually in green color. That means this image, that means here, if you can see that when we /user registration system, when it actually runs, it obviously becomes a container. Now, what is the meaning of this name, first of all? What is the name for this, right? So these names are alternatively generated by the Docker. So there are so many names. If you ask me truly, millions of names it has. Okay, so the image name is Dhanvi /user registration system : 1.0. And here the container name is Reverend Da Vinci. Okay, so Reverend Da Vinci. Okay, what I just wanted to do, I just wanted to delete this container first. Delete this container. And now I just wanted to start this image again. And now if you can see that a different container will be created. 1 second, let me go to the container. And here, if you can see, recursing Aryabhatta. So there are, lots and lots of names which will be generated by the Docker internally. So, but our image name is this one, user registration system, and the version. Version is just a tag. So we if you just go to the pom.xml, and if you see that there is a dependency tag, we do have a group ID, we do have an artifact ID, and then we do have a version tag, right? So we call it as a version tag, but in Docker, we call it as a tag. Tag means it's a version, that's all. Okay, so that's the total idea. Now, if you just see this application is running inside a Docker, and our Postman is not able to access our application. Okay, that means whenever an application or whenever an image is going to run inside a Docker, no one will be able to access this application from anywhere. So that's the kind of security Docker is going to provide to us. Yeah, that is fine, Murli. We will just come to that when we are going to discuss about Docker Compose. Okay. Yeah. So now, even if the application is running on the port, let's go and see the logs over here. Let's go to the logs. Let's go to this. Yeah. So here our application has been started on 8080 port. See here, 8080, but still we are not able to access it. But let me see whether we are going to access this H2 console first of all, right? So let me go and see this. Localhost 8080 /H2 console. No, the site can't be reached. That means whenever we are running a Java application or Spring Boot application or even a microservice-based application inside a Docker, no one will be able to touch our application. And this is the kind of biggest security Docker is going to provide to all the developers. and to all the organizations. Got it? So that's the total idea. But how we can access this application, which is running inside a Docker? There is something, two types of communication is there. One is through the IP address and one is through the Docker Compose tool. Okay. Okay, Murali. Yeah. So probably what I will do now. So basically, I will explain all these commands to you now. Okay. So tomorrow we will see it in action. So right now, what is the meaning of this one? So from OpenJDK Alpine. So this OpenJDK is actually downloaded as an image. I just wanted to go to the Docker desktop now. Let's go to the images. And here, I just wanted to go to the hub. Artifact, local. So this is a local machine, right? So here, I just wanted to search for OpenJDK. So we will not be able to see it. Even Docker will not show what type of software it has installed in their Docker operating system. Okay. So here, what I need to do, first of all, everyone knows about this, right? So before running our Java application, do you know how this application is running inside a Docker? With this command, java-jar user registration .jar. But let me tell you how this is getting reached to this entry point level, first of all. So first of all, what I just wanted to do from OpenJDK Alpine, that means before actually running this command, as this command is actually pointing to a Java application, right? This is a Java application. So it actually needs a JDK environment. So first of all, from actually indicates, that means, hey, Docker, from the Docker Hub, see whether this image is available or not in the Docker Hub. If it is available, download this and install this OpenJDK in the Docker container. That's it. That's very simple. Okay. So now once this is downloaded and installed, I have actually created one arg file. So here, what I just wanted to say, right? So let me go to this command first of all. And here, basically I have given jar file. So this is a variable. So how we are going to declare variable inside a Java class? By using integer space value equal to or string space name equal to. That's what we are going to give. So here jar file is a variable created using arg. So arg is a command. So arg is basically a declaration to create a variable. So here the variable is target / user registration system -1.0 -snapshot.jar. Okay. Now let's say I just wanted to change this version now. I just wanted to change this version to 1.1. And what happens now if I just do Maven clean install? Let me do this. Let's do Maven clean install again. Okay. So let's stop this application and delete this container. First of all, it's not required, but basically I'm stopping it. Okay. So now do Maven clean install. Just run this. Yeah. So now if you see this, it has actually created user registration system -1.1 -snapshot.jar. Okay. Now if you can just go to this Docker desktop. So here, just refresh it. We cannot see the image, right? So the reason being, I will tell you what happens over here. So since we have not built the Docker image, the old Docker image is still there. Now, if I just go and clear the console and then let's execute this one. Okay. Now, if I do Docker build -t, then we use a registration system. And here, I don't have to change my Docker file. I just can change the version over here, and I can just execute this command. So now see what happens over here. So everything is done. Now, can you see this, first of all? See here, target user registration system 1.0 snapshot.jar is not found. That means it is actually taking the information from this jar. But if you just see this as execution, right? So here we have actually given jar file target user registration system -1.0 snapshot. Can you understand this? So if I just wanted to execute this one again, so just clear this console. And here, I just wanted to use 1.1 over here. And here, the jar file is a variable which was created over here. So I don't have to change this to 1.1 again over here. Instead of which, I can change directly over here and build a new image with version 1.1 and enter this one now. Okay, now see the Docker desktop, and we'll have two versions. One is 1.0 and another one is 1.1. Do you get the idea? So why I have created a variable over here. So every time, see, for initial days, let's say your software has been released into the market, and this Docker file is also committed to the GitHub. Okay, so in the GitHub, you have to change this version every time, 1.0, 1.1, 1.2, for each and every quarter, for every month, for every 2 months or every 3 months, your software is getting upgraded, right? So here, if you are going to create one variable called jar file with target /, this is the version, the initial version. So you don't have to change the Docker file here. Instead of which, you can change the version over here directly. So let me clear this console and see this. Here you can, and also here 1.1 is optional over here. So here, I just wanted to delete this, and I just wanted to build the image again. And now let's see what is going to happen now. Let's run this application. So that's the reason I'm saying that is optional. Okay. So here, if you don't mention the version after this, I just wanted to clear this first of all. Yeah. So here, previously, if you see this build tag, so let me explain you. Here, I have actually given the tag information with this version, right? So here, if you just don't give the version, that means this is the latest build. So if you see that 1.0 was built in the initial timing, this is the second time we have actually built the image. Now, after that, we have not given any version in the tag information. So here, if you see that the tag information is the latest, this is the latest tag. Okay. That means it indicates that this is the latest build. Okay. Now let's run this again and see what is going to happen now. Let's run this again. And now let's see the Docker. Okay. So if you just refresh it, this was just created 2 minutes ago. And here it is not creating the image again because there are no changes. There are no changes, right? That's the total idea. If there are no changes, even if you are going to build a Docker image, it will not take the latest or build a Docker image again because it was actually done 2 minutes ago, right? So let's change something inside the code. Let's change something inside the code. Let's go to the controllers. And here I just wanted to say user registered. I just wanted to press a dot. Okay. Now save this application and run this command again. So, okay. Now here in the build tag, the tag information, you don't have to provide the version. Only the project name and the Docker username is enough. Okay. So, but here there is something called a build --arg. That means if you just see this Docker file, this can be actually used to generate a newer version without changing the Docker file. So here I have actually given 1.0 snapshot as the latest version, right? But here we can also use 1.1, and here if you can see the pom.xml, the latest version of our of our application is 1.1, right? So here what we can do, instead of, so we don't have to change the Docker file. So that's the reason I have created this dynamic variable. So this variable can be built directly using build arg jar file equal to this one. That means this value will be overridden during the Docker build time. Got it? So if I run this application and let's see. So can you see this one? This is unused. This 4 minutes ago. That means what is happening over here, first of all, right? That means it is actually saying 4 minutes ago. But before building this image, we do have to run Maven clean install because we have a change, right? So what is the change? A dot has been added over here. So unless we do Maven clean install, it will not be able to build the latest version of this particular image or the snapshot jar. So let's run this application and run the Docker build again. And let's see whether this 4 minutes ago will be changed to seconds ago. Okay. Now let's see this. There are lots of variations. Don't worry, I will make you understand about each and everything. And then probably I will also give the notes for this. Don't worry about that. Yeah, now everything is done. Now what I just wanted to do, clear, and then do a Docker build command again. And then if you can see that, yes, now it is done. Now what I can do, I'll just go to this and refresh it. See here, there is a latest, and this is 6 minutes ago. So because this has the change, because this is actually built using Maven clean install, that means latest code is there. If the latest code is recognized by Docker, then it will automatically create an image. So that's the total idea. Okay. So here, when you see this Docker command, so Docker build -t, then we / user registration system. So here we don't have to give 1.0 something like that. This is not at all required. Okay, so whatever the version that you just wanted to give, only give inside this jar file, this one. And this is actually the thing. But if you just wanted to mention the versions right now, if you just don't mention the version, it will actually say this as latest. But if you just wanted to mention :1.1, then version will be displayed inside the tag. Got it? So if you just go and execute that command again, and here I just wanted to just clear this. Clear this and then execute this. So here I just wanted to say that :1.1 again. So here, if you can see that, if I just go to the Docker, so here this became unused. That means this became the unused. That means 1.1 is the recent one. Okay, so that's the total idea. Okay, just refresh it. And now this is actually being, unused, and the version is run. Now it has been latestly built. So 1.1 is the latest one. Okay. And with the latest code changes. So that's the total idea. Okay. So with this, we are done with the Docker commands, but we are left with some more data over here. If you just go to this Docker file now. So did everyone understand these 2 steps? What it is actually doing? First of all, it is actually creating a JDK installation in the Docker. And then probably it is just creating one variable. And then probably what it is actually doing in the 3rd step, it is basically using this jar file. That means, what is this add? So $jar file means this value. You'll get this value. That means we are actually adding means copy the jar file from this location to Docker container, to the Docker, and I have given this name. And this name is not optional. This is optional. So you can just give just something like this. This will work. Dot will also work. But here I just wanted to say this as user registration dot. It can be also abc.jar also. Got it? So whatever the target folder, this is target folder means our own folder, right? So this is our local machine folder. Target user registration system hyphen 1.0 hyphen snapshot. So what I'm just doing, I'm just copying this jar file. That means add means, what is this add meaning? Add means this is basically going to add this jar file to the Docker jar. By default, abc.jar is an empty jar which we have created. So to this abc.jar, whatever the content which is present inside this jar file, those contents will be pasted over here inside this abc.jar, and you can just exactly run like this abc.jar. So what is the meaning of this one, first of all, right? So if you just view or user registration.jar, that means this jar is a part of Docker, not our local machine. So we are creating an empty jar where the contents of this jar will be copied to this user registration jar, which is an empty jar. Once it is copied, it will have the contents. Now, the next point is entry point. So we are actually making Docker. Hey, Docker, after this copying of the jar, you can just execute this command to run the application of mine. So here, what I just wanted to do. So once we do Docker build, then what it is going to read, hey Docker, download this OpenJDK and install this JDK in the Docker. And then I have one location of my application, which is actually built using a jar. So what you can do, so this is the location of the jar, and I have created a variable for it. So use this location and copy this jar file to the Docker user registration.jar. This can be any of name. It can be used abc.jar and abc.jar also. Let me build the application again. And build the application again. Yeah, now if you can see this Docker. Yeah, so now refresh it. This was generated 9 seconds ago. That means now, if you just wanted to run this, just run this application. It will use java-jar abc.jar. So inside abc.jar, whatever the contents are there inside the user registration snapshot.jar, those contents will be copied to the Docker platform. Okay, so abc.jar is the jar which is located in Docker as an empty jar. But once we do add the jar file contents inside this jar to this abc.jar, which is a Docker related jar. Okay, now what it is going to do, java-jar abc.jar. This is how it is going to execute the application. Now, if you can see this, it has started the application user registration system. That's it. So how it has actually ran this? So it is actually using Java. So here, see this. Can you see this one? So basically it has executed the command like in the Docker, inside the Docker. We are not running application. Docker itself is running application, but we are giving steps to the Docker from the Docker file where it can basically get this java-jar abc.jar. This is how it is going to run inside the Docker. Can you see this? This is how it is actually going to use this command. How it is going to use this command? Because we have given that command to run the Java application or the Spring Boot application through this entry point. So entry point is basically a command to run our application. But how this can run our application? Because whatever the contents which are present inside this snapshot.jar, which is our local file, I'm just copying all that contents, and also you can just place the same thing over here. There's no problem. You can just create the same jar file with the same name over here. It will also work. Okay, so that's the total idea. So here what we are actually doing, we are actually installing the JDK environment inside the Docker, and then probably we are creating one variable called jar file. So right now this is 1.0, but we can also override that version by using the Docker build command exactly like this. So by using --build arg, and I can also use 1.1 snapshot without changing. But if you don't give this information to this, let's don't give this information and see what happens now. Okay, now let's execute this. So it will still build the image, but it will fail because it is actually going to say that 1.0 snapshot was not there. So what is the version over here? 1.1. So here I just have to change 1.1 again. And then probably I just have to run this clear command, and then only it will work. Otherwise it will not work. Okay. Every time I have to change the version. If it is 1.2, again, I have to change. So that changing is not required if you have actually created a variable and there is something called a build build arg. Just clear this out. And here I just wanted to use this build arg. And here the jar file is a variable. So here we can actually override this variable with 1.1 snapshot also. And that's the reason I have actually created this variable, so that we can create n number of higher versions without changing the Docker file. And if you just don't want to give this, don't give this, and you can just give directly the jar file over here. Exactly same like this. And every time you need to change the version. Just copy this and paste it over here. Got it? So these are the 3 steps which are required for running or building a Docker image from the actual jar file. That's the total idea. Got it? Yes, clear. Now, I will explain again all the steps. Right now, whatever the application which is running inside a Docker, by default, no one will be able to access that application unless Docker allows the end user to access the application. So tomorrow we will see that. Okay, tomorrow I will explain all these steps in a clear way, so that how security is getting provided by Docker. So all these kind of things. Okay. So I hope everything is clear for everyone. Whoever have pasted their commands inside the chat box. Akash, are you clear? So if you are not clear, just wait for tomorrow. And Abhinav Bellamkonda. Abhinav Bellamkonda. Abhinav, are you there? Okay, so don't worry. I will be able to explain very clearly once we are going to use Docker Compose tool. So it is very, very important and very, very much required for microservices environment. Okay, so tomorrow we will see that part. Don't worry, I will explain you each and everything, but Docker will take at least 1 or 2 days. For you, it is actually 2 days. Don't worry, I'll explain you each and everything. Okay. And there are some use cases which will be designed from my side. So tomorrow, basically, you will understand what is the main reason of using Docker. Okay. So that's all for today. And probably I will speak to you all tomorrow. And probably we'll have a lot of question and answer sections tomorrow itself. Okay. Thank you so much and have a great day. Bye.